If you just want to give somewhat of your thoughts, just looking back at the season as you've looked back, and then we'll open it up to questions from these guys.
Sure, I'll try to be brief as I can. Looking over the season, just from starting where we did when the season started, we were literally practicing at Rustin Hine and Memorial Coliseum. We didn't, our field wasn't ready to. Finally, it gets ready and we can play a game, but no fans. They can only be in the outfield, and obviously culminating with the regional here at Ruston and hosting the conference tournament. It was just a great year. It was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of peaks and valleys, as most baseball seasons tend to be. And we kind of had a theme from the get go with our guys: leave your legacy, be that team that future teams look back and go, that's the team that got it going and got this thing started. And I think they did that. Lo and behold, they went out and did it, and couldn't be more proud of a group of young men and what they were able to accomplish, and the ride and the journey they took me and our coaches on. We were just along for the ride like everybody else. We kind of got out of their way, and they went out and did their thing, and looking forward to building on this season. But a lot of people to thank, not only our players but our administration, Dr. Geis, Dr. Wood, and it just goes on and on. To put on a conference tournament and a regional, it takes a lot of people, a lot of hands on deck, and from Gerald Jordan to coaches and staff in our department just volunteering their time. It was humbling to walk around and see all those people out there working. And I know what time they went home at night and got up in the morning. It was not a lot of sleep for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Trust me, coaches and players got more sleep than they did, and they did a phenomenal job. But very proud of our guys. We left it all out on the field. I know that's cliche and coach speak, but George Corona's getting an IV between games on Sunday, and he literally ran from the training room to behind home plate. He wasn't out there for introductions, and took him out of the ball game. Just felt like it was time to do that late in the game two, and looked over and he was bawling his eyes out. I think everything, just all the emotion, and he was spent. He was spent, couldn't feel his legs. I didn't know that till later, but just proud of our guys. We got beat by a really good baseball team, North Carolina State. They're very good and very well coached, and they deserve to win this regional. I thought they came in on a mission, and they took it to us at home twice in front of a great atmosphere. But I think we created something. Our fans, from our student body to our season ticket holders to our single game ticket buyers or whatever, people out there for the first time ever. And I think we've created something, some tradition, and hopefully this will carry on for years to come.
Questions for Coach? Go ahead, John.
Coach, I now that the weekend is over, I wonder, has it set in how special it was to be able to host a regional, especially for a program, a mid-major like you? There's only 16 teams that do get to host. Has it set in just how special it was to have the season that you had, to have the opportunity to be one of the 16 national seeds?
Yeah, I think it has. During the tournament, even the conference tournament and all the stuff, when we found out we were hosting, and obviously the field that was going to be here, you really don't have time to take it all in. You don't have time to get on social media. I don't. I mean, I know some people might, but you try to look at a little bit and see what people are saying, but there just isn't enough time. You got so much going on, and when it was finally over, and we took a day off on Monday, then yesterday we had our final team meeting, and it started exit interviews immediately after that. So yesterday was a grind. It's exit interviews and meetings that'll wear you down. And I honestly, I just finally collapsed about 8:30 last night. My body gave out, and woke up this morning, and I think slowly but surely starting to realize what we did, and starting to get some of the feedback from different people and what this meant to Ruston, our community, our university, our department, our program, and not only this area but North Louisiana as a whole. And it was just it was phenomenal. It was amazing. And when you're in the middle of it and you're kind of in the arena, you don't really take it all in. You're just trying to survive and get through this inning or this at bat. But I think now that I had time to sit back and think about it, and I think it'll hit probably me and our players and coaches even more as the summer progresses. What it meant, and yeah, it was phenomenal. It was great. And one of the things I said early on, in one of our early chapels before the season started, chaplain asked, "Why do you play this game? What do you want to do?" And nobody really said anything. And I was like, I want to bring people joy. I want to give people a reason to be happy. And if you looked at our crowd, they were happy. They were having a good time and they were enjoying themselves. And that's all you can ask. And I think our players did that. They brought people some joy and gave them a reason to cheer. And to me, that's enough. As long as people come back and we've created something, that's good enough for me.
Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, Lane, in your opening statement, you mentioned kind of changing the culture a little bit. I can remember, late in the conference tournament, early in the regionals, just seeing different things on social media about, things that people were encountering outside of the ballpark. But it was something that was a direct result of what was happening inside of the ballpark. Talk about changing the culture, man, inside the city of Ruston, and just like what kind of impact this baseball team had on this community, not only at the ball field but outside of it.
Yeah, look, from the texts I've gotten, not only from just business leaders and Skip Holtz, our president. I mean, you get those kind of texts from those kind of people, and hey, you're giving everybody hope. You're inspiring people, not me, but our team. I mean, it's humbling, man. It'll knock you off your feet and go, wow. It's you don't really realize it when you're in there, and just so many people have texted me, and we'll be getting season tickets next year. We never have had them before. We came to the games, unbelievable, and we tell our players essentially, you're an entertainer. You got to give them something that when they leave, they want to come back. They got to have more of it, and I think our guys did that. Not only were we on a national stage hosting a regional, but the games were phenomenal. All of it, from the conference tournament to throughout the region, our games were just really good baseball games, and that kept people on the edge of their seats, kept them coming back. Our guys were able to pull out a lot of those wins, and that means a lot. But yeah, I just think it reverberates from just season ticket holders, people who've never been here. I've been through this process before at another university where it was kind of a similar program, hosted a regional, and boom, it exploded. After that, never looked back, and I'm hoping that's what we're anticipating here. People coming out to the ballpark, never been here, watching it on TV, and I want to be a part of that. And we're already seeing it in recruiting. I mean, the calls and the that we're getting, and the return calls. And I mean, people are watching us and seeing what kind of brand of baseball we play, and seeing the environment and the atmosphere, and they want to be a part of it. So hopefully, like we told our guys, leaving a legacy, look back on this year and this team, and saying those are the ones that got it started, and hopefully this will continue to grow for years to come.
Go ahead, Ben.
Coach, as you look ahead to 2022, obviously you look at this year, so good offensively, great starting pitching. Bullpen had some issues at times, but when you look ahead to 2022, where do you feel like you need to get better as a program? Not only if you want to host a regional again, but if you want to win one of these things and get into a super regional and possibly to Omaha.
Yeah, it's a great point, great question. Obviously, the bullpen, we need to get better there. And I think Kyle Krieger's one of those guys, and Landon Tompkins, you'll be able to hand them the ball at the end of the ball game, and they'll get it done. I anticipate Krieger coming back throwing really, really hard. You got to remember, a little over a year off Tommy John, and he was sitting there 92, 94, and breaking ball wasn't great. That's usually the last thing to come back, but it kept getting better. And I anticipate him being lights out next year, and Landon Tompkins same way. So we feel like we got some guys that can shut the door, but we need to have guys that can bridge that gap from our starters to our closer, and we need to clean up some things defensively. We kind of have a mantra in our program: dominate the average play, and there were some times this year we didn't do that. We made some great plays, we didn't dominate average plays, and it cost us usually. I feel like obviously we got to replace Wells and Bates, two guys that throughout their careers have been in that lineup for a long time and produced at a high level. And then Garcia had a great year for us. We're not where we are right now if Manny doesn't have the year he does. When Steele goes down for a month, Manny stepped right in, picked up the slack, and produced at a high level and put up some big numbers. So we feel like we've probably done that through our recruiting. Recruiting's always a year or two out. So, we got everybody else coming back. Our entire rotation should be back. All our pitchers, we lose Follis and Griffin out of the bullpen. And, when you think about guys like Netterville and Young and McConnell and Corona coming back, and Ben Brantley, it goes on and on. We got some really good players. Darius Myers over there that that didn't play a lot this year down the stretch, and the guys we've recruited and bringing in, and we feel like we got some good transfer guys coming in too. So I'm looking forward to building on this thing, having another really good year. We're set up for it. It can look good on paper, but you got to go out and produce. And one good thing about hosting this regional, and if there is a silver lining of not winning it, all these guys got a little taste of it, and I can assure you, they don't want to see anybody else celebrating out there in early June on our field or anybody else's field. Now they know what it feels like. They know what it's like to be on the national stage and to not get to Omaha. And that's a good thing because they've experienced now, and you can't put a price tag on experience. So they know what it's all about, and I think they'll push even harder next year to get this thing to the next level, whether it be a super or on to Omaha.
Go ahead, John.
Coach, what can this year's team learn from this experience as a whole? And I think specifically just the way that the regional started, I guess, because you see a lot of these teams, they, like you guys had with the dominant win over Ryder, and then you were unable to follow it up. But just as a whole, what can this team learn from this year moving on?
Yeah, how hard it is to get to a regional, much less host one, and you got to play good all year. When you're not a Power 5 school, you have to do more. You got to do more. You got to give more. You got to be extra special to not only get to a regional, but obviously to host one. And they see once you get in that thing, it's anybody's ball game. If you look at NC State, they didn't start out really well. They had some issues with injuries and COVID, but my goodness, if there's a hotter team or a better team in the country right now, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch Arkansas and NC State play. I think it's going to be phenomenal and a great matchup. But just how once you get there, it's anybody's ball game. You get in that winner's bracket, you win game one and you win game two, you probably got it nailed down. It's going to be really hard to come out of the loser's bracket. Our guys learn that now. They see how hard it is, but they also see how close they were. Sometimes when you think about Omaha and the College World Series, it seems a long way away, but essentially we were 4 wins away from 4 wins away from being in Omaha. And we went on a lot of 4-game winning streaks. And if we win that first one against our game 2, the first one against NC State on Sunday, and we get to Monday, look out. Anything can happen, and you get to a super. Now it's just a weekend. It's a 2 out of 3. So I think our guys, hopefully they learned that how hard it is to get here. You have to work extra hard to get to a regional when you're in a position like we are. But once you get there, you're not that far away from the promised land. And I think they realize that now as it's all starting to, as you decompress and it all starts to take it all in, really and truly, we're not that far away.
Go ahead, Ben.
Coach, we talked so many times throughout the year about the schedule that you put together in 2021. Whether it was a McNeese or a Tulane, obviously Arkansas, Ole Miss, LSU twice down at the box. Will that be another goal for you when you look at putting together this schedule in 2022?
Yes, one thing we are going back to the 3-game weekends. Thank goodness, 10 weeks in conference play, 3-game weekends. We nailed that down. Our athletic directors approved that. So that's a good thing. So now we'll be able to play midweek games throughout the year. And yes, well, look, I'm a firm believer. We hosted because of the schedule we played. If we don't play Arkansas and beat them once and play them off their feet, and we don't sweep Tulane at Tulane, and we don't sweep McNeese, we don't host. And we're not running from that. A lot of people will. And, your record may not be as good, so be it. RPI is what it's all about. And RPI was smoking. I know we had some tough losses and lost some games toward the end of the year that we probably shouldn't have, but it all evens out, and we're not hosting a regional if we don't play that schedule. So that we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to play a tough schedule, and if an SEC team or Big 12 team or whoever wants to come in here, we'll gladly take them, and if they want us to come there, we'll go there. So I think we've proven we can play with the best teams in the country, and yeah, I think that's how you build a program, and it prepares you for, when I was in the SEC, we always said that league prepares you for everything. There's nothing you'll see in postseason you hadn't already seen. And when we played LSU and Arkansas and Ole Miss, I mean, NC State's really good, but it wasn't nothing we hadn't seen. It kind of prepared us for everything down the road, and we'll continue to do that as long as I'm the coach here.
Go ahead, AJ.
Lane, being on the other side of the season now, how do the results kind of match up with your expectations heading into the season?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we were kind of scuffling there toward the end. I remember Coach Gaspard saying, "If I don't know what our record was, but if you would have said before the season, would you have taken this?" And of course we would have. I mean, you're looking at it's human nature to look. I don't really do the wins and losses and go down through them because you never know what's going to happen. But you look at the schedule as a whole and go, "Wow, that's going to be really tough. We're going to have to play really good." And I think looking at it now and where we are, of course we would have taken it. We were battle tested toward the end. We were a more mature team, and we had been through a lot, not only off the field, but we had played a really, really tough schedule. It was a grind. We went through that gauntlet of McNeese to Arkansas, Ole Miss, Tulane to Southern Miss on the road, and we came out of it really good. We were like 11-4 or something. We came out of that, if not better than that, and it was amazing. And that's when you kind of go, wait a minute, we got something here. These dudes, they're for real, and they're not being fazed by much. And it prepared us for that stretch run, conference tournament, into a regional. And I think when you look at it as a whole, I think we did really good. I was very proud of our guys. I don't think you could ask for much more out of our team than what they were able to do with that schedule we played.
All right, and Corey, this will be our last question.
Lane, yeah, and kind of a follow up to the scheduling question. Is it almost kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? When you have such a good year, and then when you try to put together a really good schedule for the following season, is it sometimes a case of you maybe reach out to a team and they say, well, we don't know if we want to play those guys. They're playing pretty good right now.
Of course, yeah, that's a great point. Of course it is. And look, when you on a normal year, and I think after when everybody's back to playing midweek games and RPI is back to being what it was, when you get all the Power Five, take all the automatic bids, all the conference tournament winners. Now you take all the Power Five and the ones they get. You're sitting there looking at 4 or 5 slots. A lot like basketball. It makes it tough to get in that large bid when you're not a Power 5 school. So you better play a good schedule. RPI needs to be smoking, and if it's not, you're going to have to win the tournament. It just makes it extremely tough. Our league showed this year we got a really good league, baseball-wise, and we got 4 teams in. And I honestly think if FAU or somebody would have won the tournament, we'd have got 5. But who knows? But, yeah, it makes it tough because now you're going to reach out. And those SEC schools, they know their RPI is going to be good just by the league games they play, so they don't necessarily have to play really tough opponents out of conference. But we'll continue to reach out, and I know people from NC State, the word they gave us is this environment, top 5 in the country. That's what Coach A. Vince, he said, I don't care the numbers or where you're at. Your fans were absolutely relentless. That was the word he used, relentless. They never stopped, and it was crazy. He said it was top 5 atmospheres in the country. Nothing we played in. He told me that nothing we played in all year, and to beat you guys in this atmosphere, it proves what kind of team they have, and going in forward to Arkansas. But just a relentless attack from our fans. They never stopped, up or down. They kept going, but yeah, the schedule is a tricky thing. It's not science. It can be tricky, and you don't know who's going to be good from this year to the next, and you can think a team's going to be really good and they have a down year. So but we'll continue to schedule best we can and try to get as good a teams in here as we possibly can, because I think our fans are locked in now and want to be a part of it, and hopefully we'll continue to grow and play a really good schedule and get good teams in here to play us.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach, for coming on, and we'll let you get out of here, but we appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for covering us all year. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.